This is you. You're Chinese, which means you live in China. For context, it's the mid-19th century, which is the mid-1800s for some reason, and there's some stuff pushing and pulling you. For example, the First Opium War. It's called the First Opium War because there was another one. They're called Opium Wars because the British weren't trading enough stuff in China despite China trading enough stuff in Britain. To make up for not trading enough stuff in China, they started trading opium, which is illegal, and got everyone in China addicted. Opium, which is illegal, gained such high demand in China despite being illegal that China snapped and started a war. Twice. There was also another war, a civil one, called the Taiping Rebellion. You live in China as this is all happening, and since war and drugs are bad, you don't want to live in China anymore. To reiterate, this is the stuff pushing you, or rather, making you want to leave. So what's pulling? Well, the West is looking very nice. It's the Industrial Revolution, so there's a lot of factories offering a lot of jobs. These jobs are in countries with much more money, like the US, meaning they have much higher wages. In the US, in California, someone just found gold, a lot of it. Many like you rush over like rats for the opportunity to get rich quick. Also in the US, they're building a really long railroad that'll need a lot of railroad people. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff pulling you over to the West, and there's a lot of stuff pushing you away from China. So you go to the West. This is you. You're Chinese, which means you don't live in China. You live in the West now. These are Westerners who live in the West. They aren't a big fan of people like you. They make fun of you for multiple things, like your hair and your clothes. But deep down, they're also scared because people like you are competing with them for all those jobs. Either way, you don't feel comfortable around these Westerners, so you hide in your cozy 6-bedroom beachfront mansion just outside town. Except you can't buy a 6-bedroom beachfront mansion because your money is worth nothing here and you spent all of it getting here anyway. So you find a secluded corner of your city to live in. Not only is it cheap to live here, but it's also far from all those bullies. Sadly, you are alone. Hello. Hello there. Turns out, a lot of Chinese people also think war and drugs are bad, so also move to the West. In fact, it's not only Chinese people. In Laos, people are getting pushed because they're in poverty, and it's soon to be an exploitative French colony. Next door, Cambodia is sandwiched between two really very scary regional powers. For similar reasons, more people in countries in Indochina are also being pulled to the West, and even more will follow in the future. You all have similar stuff and similar cultures, so you band together, forming a Chinatown, which the Westerners named for you, even though you aren't all Chinese, and that's a little insensitive. And now you're all cozy. Except you're a little homesick. You, being Chinese, miss all the Chinese stuff back home, and the others, being otheries, miss all their other stuff. So you begin by opening a Chinese restaurant. It's humble, but it's something, and you're all hooked. Someone else opens another somethingese restaurant. Somebody opens a china shop, which is impressive considering how big a China is. Some other guys open a bakery, and a laundry, a cigar factory, and a tea house. Suddenly, all the shops in the Chinatown are very Chinese or some otheries. Let's decorate the streets, says some smart guy. Great idea. You decorate or orientalize the streets with archways and lanterns and pagodas. You did it because they look cool and remind everyone of home, but also to exaggerate the aesthetic and Chineseness to attract a key factor that will present itself in 5 seconds. Whoa, this is cool, says a Westerner. I thought they were mean. Well, some time passed, and the influx of Asian immigrants has created a Western society where Asian culture has become socially accepted, and if anything is undergoing cultural appropriation. In short, the Westerner thinks your Chinatown looks cool, which is fair, because it does. You let him walk around and eat your food, and he goes off to tell his friends. That was a tourist. You just unlocked tourism. By catering to the Westerners and their hunger for Asian culture, as well as cuisine, you've turned an impoverished, oppressed neighborhood into a cultural hub. Turns out, a lot of Chinese people also made Chinatowns. And in fact, it's not only Chinese people. Here's San Francisco, whose Chinatown is really very famous and the oldest in North America. The oldest in the world is Binondo, which is in Manila, which is in the Philippines, which was established before your one by the Spanish to settle all the Chinese Catholic immigrants from Chinese Buddhist Confucianist Taoist China. There's even one which is in Buenos Aires, which is in Argentina, which is on the other side of the world from China. They're everywhere. But no matter where they are, they pretty much all have one thing in common that brings them together. They copied you. Yours is the best. 订阅